So potassium by itself is super important. It's also very important in relationship to other nutrients like sodium and magnesium,
Mm.
uh, amongst others like calcium. Calcium to potassium is a great indication of how your thyroid is producing energy.
What's going on? Welcome back. I'm Andrea, your personal connector, and today we're going through another product review with Barton Scott. What's up, Barton?
Hey guys, great to be here.
Today we're talking about your potassium supplement, and we're doing a review on this one, this baby right here. It's so beautiful with its labeling. But I wanted to, I want to bring you these quick interviews that are not only just about the product itself, even though it's a product review, but a little bit about if it's a specific thing like this, it's a specific mineral. I want to give you guys a little bit of information why that supplement should be on your radar. So potassium, I see it, Barton, in a lot of electrolyte drinks, right? I know electrolytes are super beneficial for us. So many of us are just depleted in all of this stuff. I take electrolytes every day, but one thing I realized with potassium being in there for the most part, if you're looking at good ones, is there's just not enough minerals in there. A lot of times I'm like, oh, I need to take like 7 servings to kind of get what I think I need today, especially if I'm dehydrated, if I'm working out a lot. Right now, I'm doing carnivore, so I'm just deficient in that stuff. I need to pick that up. So tell us, what is potassium? Why do we need it outside of eating that banana? That's what we know growing up, potassium and bananas. Tell us a little bit more about your product and potassium in general.
Sure. Yeah. So potassium in general is so important. One thing that one thing that almost no one knows is that when thyroid hormone is produced in the body, and this helps you be warm, helps you feel mentally active. It helps your hair, skin, and nails look the way you want them to. It's essential for metabolism. Potassium helps your thyroid hormone be received by the body well.
Mm.
So that's huge. Um, for people that are on medications like prednisone, you can see them like slur their speech. Part of it is low potassium and their thyroid hormone just not being produced either enough or not being received well. So those are common things. To be aware of that medication is also super toxic. So that particular one. So yeah, it's just very, very helpful for so many reasons. Also muscle contraction. So anytime
Mm.
you're trying to contract a muscle, you need potassium to fire and help that muscle contract. If not, the muscles that need to contract when you're at rest, certain muscles still need to contract, like the heart needs to contract. Your heart sits in a bath of sodium and potassium, and that reaction is what's driving life force. So when we measure that on our hair analysis that we offer at Upgraded Formulas, and that's essential. We call that the vitality index. So potassium by itself is super important. It's also very important in relationship to other nutrients like sodium and magnesium,
Mm.
uh, amongst others like calcium. Calcium to potassium is a great indication of how your thyroid is producing energy. Is it underproducing or overproducing? So those are some thoughts right there.
Since we're talking about potassium, I did want to ask about like food. So growing up, it was always like eat your banana, you're low in potassium. Actually, my dad, at one point when I was his caregiver in 2011, unfortunately, when he was sick and diagnosed with cancer, there was one point where he was at home and he was going through treatments, and he was on such a low. He was so dizzy he couldn't get out of bed. Like I got really scared. It's the only time that year that I called the ambulance because I didn't know what to do with him, and they did some quick tests and it ended up being like a potassium deficiency. He
Wow.
was so low in potassium that, like you said, muscle health, right? He like cramped up and all these other things, and I'm sure magnesium was involved too, that deficiency. But they said potassium, and I was just like, oh my god, eat like 18 bananas right now. They
Yeah.
gave him an IV and thankfully he was okay. But um what food sources can we find potassium in? Just because that's always a great way to do it in additional to the supplement, of course.
Yeah, sure. So food. There's not a ton of foods out there that have a lot of potassium. To be honest, you can get some in things like avocado. Banana has so much sugar in it, though. That's a real problem. So I really do rely on, especially if you're eating a low carb diet. There's a lot of things that you're not going to be consuming that could have potassium, like leafy greens and things. So, but even like some fish, like salmon, will have these nutrients. They're supposed to, at least. All these things that we mentioned, like foods, they're supposed to. But if the soil doesn't have it, then they're not going to have it. They may also have heavy metals. We test for heavy metals. We test every batch that we produce. So we make sure that they're screened for things like that. The other thing I really wanted to touch on that you mentioned is dosaging. So with you need a lot of potassium every day. I would say with ours, if you have a deficiency, you still want to consume like 1,000 milligrams of potassium a day. If you have a pretty severe deficiency, that's a lot. I get it, and you'll go through some of these bottles fairly quickly. But hey, look, you're getting that life force back in your body, and you really need that. It's for all the reasons I just mentioned. With ours, though, the last thing to really mention on my end is that you will need less milligrams per day, because based on compared to like a normal RDA, because you're just going to absorb so much more of it than you would even from food. So yeah, and certainly from other minerals, or we've talked about this in other interviews, but particle size, something that we figured out at Upgraded Formulas was, your red blood cell carries your nutrients, and you have to get it small enough and stable enough to get in those red blood cells, carry that through the body, have the body be healthy. And our gut is just so dysfunctional that the chance of getting all of what we eat is just, it's just tough. So, and it's tough to try to eat that much too. So, and that can also be really expensive. It can be a hassle to prep all that, and then some of it goes bad. You feel bad about that. There's just so many cruxes. So I really do believe in food as being a key contributor to our health. We need to eat cleanly, but we need to supplement cleanly as well, and we need to have supplements that really are super well absorbed if we're ever going to banish these deficiencies from our body, so we can really live optimally, which is really our mission at Upgraded Formulas. Is living optimally so that you can perform at a high level, so that you can be happier and healthier and show up better for everyone you interact with. And if everyone does that to some extent, then we're just raising the standard of living for everyone we encounter. So that's it's one of the most essential nutrients out there.
Oh, for sure. And that's why you see it everywhere. Like you said, the magnesium, the sodium, and high quality salt, potassium. These are just like some of the top ones that like you're coming out with an electrolyte blend. They're in electrolytes. We're all deficient in it. So especially at the beginning, it's nice to kind of get a higher dosage. And like you said, so important making sure you're absorbing it. Because if you guys are taking some crappy brand, excuse my language, then you're just basically throwing your money out the window or down the toilet or whatever the hell the saying is.
Or maybe out the window into a toilet. I don't know. Yeah. So
that could happen. That'll be cool. Out the window into the toilet.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I love having you on. Thank you so much. This is just like such a great part of this. I'll call it the mineral series. So let's call it that. And giving us insight on your amazing minerals and why we need these in our lives. So Barton, thank you so much. Guys, I hope you learned something. Make sure to subscribe to get more videos like this. And I'll see you on the healthier side. Bye, guys.
All right. Love it. Take care, guys.